right, welcome to Gen X Rated Tuesday edition. Welcome back, Billy. How we doing?
Yeah. We miss anything? Anything happen while we were gone?
Nothing that I really saw. Holy
Yeah,
man.
man. Quite a week, eh?
By the minute, yeah. I guess the big miss that we were missing was Charlie Kirk's murder. I certainly wouldn't call it an assassination. Just another person in America getting killed, really. But
Yeah, and just another sacrifice at the altar of the Second Amendment. I think Charlie would have been proud.
it's crazy. It's crazy. The people that are speaking upon this, people that are speaking out about it, the height that it goes to. I mean, you'd have thought him and Trump were like father and son. When push came to shove and they had the vigil at the Kennedy Center, Trump was golfing. Um,
Yeah.
just
Listen, everything is transactional with Trump. There's no feeling of any kind of empathy or warmth for anybody. It's strictly on a transactional basis. But
and he went after it pretty hard because this is a good way for them to start going after the left. Oh, the left did this. The indoctrinating people on the left. The shooter was had a trans roommate, and I mean, it's just like it's out of
I
control.
thought the shooter lived at home. I mean, they said he was radicalized in school. I thought he was taking some online courses.
That was a quarter that he took at school, and it was online while living at home. So yeah, I just think they're spinning wildly. In fact, the site where the murder happened, not only shortly after, which by that I mean 40 minutes later, they're taking down the cameras that were set up behind Charlie Kirk. It was his production team. They were taking that stuff down. You would think that would be some evidence that you might want to hold on to, see who was in the crowd. I mean, that footage is probably pure gold. But you
Yeah.
just had some guy step over the rail and start taking things down. In fact, today, the university's constructing that area is completely covered under pavers as Kash Patel's on Capitol Hill answering questions and saying, they're still investigating and he's keeping America safe and how wonderful he is. The site's gone. You can't look for forensic evidence when they've walked all over it and put pavers down.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like after 9/11. I mean, they one of the first things they did was the gas station across the way from the Pentagon. They went and they snatched up that tape that would have showed exactly what hit that building.
Yeah.
And they
They went
shipped
to all the gas stations. They took any kind of video from anywhere and everywhere.
and they shipped off the metal, the steel from the trade towers that was put on a slow boat to China,
Super
literally.
fast.
You just don't know who to trust. I mean, the whole thing, it's really fishy. And, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories, but the fact was, that Trump had a conversation with him in July about, hey, can you cool it on the pressure to release the Epstein tapes? Because he was pretty vocal about that.
Him and MTG were all in on releasing those tapes. He also was starting to have
Yeah.
problems with Israel. Not to speculate, but yeah, there was. They would have liked him to be more supportive of Israel. That's for sure.
Yeah, and apparently, I
One
guess, what Netanyahu offered him, what, 120 million?
hundred fifty million. Yeah,
150 million. And, he invited him there and he refused to take the trip. My guess is, knowing Netanyahu and the way he operates, either you leave with the cash or you don't leave. You
could
know,
be. He
kind of
turned
like
down the
that,
trip smartly.
kind of like that scene in Goodfellas where Jimmy's asking Henry to, would you mind going down to Florida with Dominic to do this little job? And he's like, I knew right then and there, if I took that trip, I wasn't coming back.
Something he'd
Um,
never asked before. Yeah.
just a lot of questions raised. I mean, the guy standing next to him signaling, making hand gestures. I
All
mean,
right. Well, I
just
mean,
doesn't.
clearly that stuff's been pushed around. Everybody's using it to their narrative. I agree. The guy in the hat, the guy in the black shirt, the guy, the old man next to him. I mean, and with AI, it's really tough to tell. One
Mhm.
side has him getting shot from the side. The shooter thing seems pretty ridiculous. This is Tyler Robinson up on the screen, 22 years old. He's charged with 6 charges: murder, obstruction, tampering with a witness. Um, and right away they said he, I mean, his family's all Republican. They're staunch Republicans. He's been trained with guns for years. That was what they did. That was how their family rolled. They weren't some left wing, crazy, woke people. It was
Hmm.
full of Republicans. So you got to turn the narrative. First of all, the FBI did a horrible job. Cash Patel looked like he was a deer in the headlights.
Well,
Um,
they had fired the head of the Salt Lake City branch, right? The Salt Lake City office, who was highly experienced and
2 weeks
highly
before,
commended
right?
because she was a woman with what was it, Pakistani background?
No matter. Cash's girlfriend's from Israel, so he does what he's told. Um,
Hmm.
they didn't preserve the crime scene at all. Again, it's already been dug up, so no help there. All the videos. I mean, we see this kid, this Tyler Robinson. It doesn't really look like the photo that they showed that kid in his flag shirt, hat, and glasses. I mean, it's just a lot of questions, obviously. Then the parents now, with this kind of pressure, come out and say, "Oh, lately he's been more left wing leaning." Uh, you know, they speculate he has a transgender roommate.
It
But
doesn't
the
even
facts
help.
are the gun that they showed, he didn't come off the top of the building of the videos any of us saw with a gun. The gun they found in the woods, much like Luigi's backpack, and we'll talk about him in a second. The scope was on backwards. The ammunition was for the wrong rifle. On the bullets, it says TRN, which is about the manufacturer. It has nothing to do with trans, though they said he
Yeah.
labeled stuff. I mean, this is just a big hate fest without going too far into it. And it's pushing the narrative to us and them, left and right. I mean, Trump can't stop talking about
Oh my God.
how
Well,
terrible.
the reaction was seriously horrific, I have to say. I mean, Jesse Waters, that fake tough guy, coming out and saying, "We're at war. At war. We're going to get him." And then Trump's
Well,
reaction before he even knew what had happened and who the shooter was. I mean, it's divisive, but again, this is what these people do. I think whatever actually happened, and who knows, I think we all have some ideas, and a lot of this looks pretty suspect,
for
but
sure.
they saw an opportunity to fucking get hateful. And it looks like they're gonna, pull a full-on Hitler with the burning of the Reichstag. They're gonna, do what they can to take away your freedom of speech, take away your freedom of expression, take away your ability to even think about, criticizing the the regime. And this is some seriously scary shit. We are really teetering on the verge if this is actually what they're going to do. I mean, JD Vance went on Kirk's show and spewed out some hateful bullshit
Not
about
only
crushing
that,
the left. I mean, this is some horrifying
the guy
stuff.
got a free ride on Air Force Two. The guy got one of the pallbearers to lead him out was the vice president of the country. I mean, this is just not normal.
It's
It's
not
not
normal.
normal.
And, the footage of Hegseth addressing the troops. I mean, you're way over the line there, buddy. Way over the line.
Yeah,
And
they showed
again,
his
that's
body
scary
language.
too.
They showed
Hmm?
his body language. I don't know how comfortable he is with this as Trump's sitting there lying, but you better get comfortable if you want to keep your seat at the table.
Yeah, this is alarm bells are ringing, red lights are flashing. This is a full-on assault on
Well, they're super thin skinned. So now Bondi wants to go after people based on the RICO Act. Trump talked about his dining out experience in DC, where people were yelling at him about Palestine. And he just said, "Oh, the restaurant was so crowded, people were booing them and they were supporting their favorite president." I mean, video doesn't lie in general.
Mhm.
As this happened and he tried to get his photo op in, he looked like he didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah,
And
listen, this man is a menace. He's a scourge on this nation and on democracy, and just the damage that's been done, and their future plans now. I mean, this is ridiculous. Whether it was, a lone assassin, or it was, something that they've cooked up to, silence him about the Epstein files, which apparently they are all in. There's got to be some deep shit on in those files.
well, Cash said there's nothing there. He didn't traffic young women to anybody, nothing on the list. That came out today while he was under oath.
That's
But he
just
also
bullshit.
lied
So
about
there's
it.
perjury right there.
They perjured when they were being, sworn in. They perjured themselves when they were asked questions about confirmation. It's nonstop. One
Let
thing
me
I
ask
did want to add, though, on the same day, we had a shooting at a Colorado high school. Two classmates were shot. The 16-year-old shooter, Desmond Holly, died from suicide. He'd been under FBI watch for several months. He was on far right activities and supporting all kinds of things since July. He was known to them and they were aware, yet they did nothing. And this kid, you really can't spin to a left-leaning anything. I think the most heartbreaking, and it barely got any coverage. The coverage that I did see was pretty heartbreaking, in that you had a new student. He looked like he was probably, I don't know, 12. And he was like, yeah, I moved here recently and I really didn't think I would have this happen so quickly, which to me says it was on your radar. You didn't think it would happen as quickly, but these kids are starting to get prepared for the worst all the time.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine when we were growing up? I mean, you know, the day after that, you know, one of the kids we know came home from school and said, yeah, my class got in trouble during the school shooter drill. Nobody was paying attention except for me and three other girls. Just very offhand, very blasé, whether, you know, almost like talking about a fire drill. I
Yeah.
mean, that chilled me to the core to hear that and to see that. This is just the normalcy that these kids have grown up with. And it is so wrong and it's horrific. And it kind of like, it's a real marker of where we are as a society and as a people, that we don't care. I mean, you know, Trump made no tributes, no statements after the shooting of the Minneapolis lawmakers in June.
And when he was asked about it, he said, well, maybe if the senator would have asked me. I mean, people ask me all the time, you know, if I said yes to everybody, the flags would never be up. But they ask, and if they would ask, maybe. The answer is no. You
The answer
made
is no,
fun of
because he
Tim
didn't
Walz
care.
on
But
Air Force One. You said Tim Walz was a nut. You didn't respect him. You wouldn't have done anything for that governor. So don't even act. And this was literally a congressperson being murdered in her home with her husband, knock at the door, and enough bullets in the dog that they had to put the dog down. I mean, that
yeah,
went away really quickly, by the way.
by a far right religious nut job.
Correct. Who had a list of
Who
others.
had a list? Yeah, but you know, oh well, we're not going to declare war. We're not going to declare war on, you know, the hateful right. You know, nothing to see here. The hypocrisy is just staggering, and it's infuriating, really, if you think
And,
about it. I mean, nothing applies to them anymore.
and it's really to distract from the Epstein files, which are not going away. Kash Patel today was asked why Maxwell was moved to a less security facility, even though she was a convicted felon for trafficking herself and the violence that she put on these kids. And he just called Schiff a fraud and a buffoon. Then he said that Schiff lied about January 6th, and he lied about the Russian hoax. And I'm just here protecting the American people. I mean, he's all in.
He's a clown. He's just an absolute clown. I mean, just the look on his face when they were doing the original press conference after the shooting. I mean, that guy had no idea what to say, where he was. He didn't want to say anything. It's a joke. It's really, and it's a bad joke, but to put him in that position, he doesn't belong there. Most of these people, none of these people do. These are
There's no
unserious
civility.
people.
There's no civility with any of these people. You would not
No,
have
he's a
seen
hateful
that
clown.
in the past. You wouldn't have seen it from Bondi addressing people. If your employer doesn't let you, print out, pictures of Charlie Kirk for your memorial, you should have him have that company shut down and, press charges. And what are you talking about? Go to Kinko's.
Seriously.
Take care of your own personal issues. I'm not saying it's right or wrong to let him use the printer. All I'm saying is, why are we debating this when like the whole planet's on fire? And we're going to come back to your right to print something or to make a birthday card. Now they're going after the RICO Act for agitators. And again, backing up there was no women trafficked. And then Cory Booker starts asking questions as well of Kash Patel, who you would think this would be a situation where he could answer what's going on. That's basically his job. How's the FBI handling this? What are you finding? This is Congress. This isn't me and you asking questions.
Yeah.
These are people that are elected officials that want some answers. And I think that we all deserve answers. And all he did was call Booker an embarrassment. He told Booker, your time is over, which, they tell you, hey, your time's up. It's not the person sitting there's job to tell you that. Booker was pretty pissed. And it's going to take people getting angry and then acting on that anger. I'm sorry. I'm not it's calling for violence. All I'm saying is there has to be pushback. These lies repeatedly. Trump is now suing the New York Times for $15 billion because they said some nasty things about him and his family, very nasty things. So we're going to sue. And then a reporter today, again, doing her job, asks a question, and he says, "You're very nasty. You know, ABC, I just got $15 million from your company. You got 16 million from Paramount. You know, I should tell them about you," type of thing. Like, dude, she's a reporter. She asked a question. Either answer it or say, "Hey, I'm not taking your question. You mean nothing to me." Something, but don't just start going on this big rant about, suing media, which basically we're getting to a list of media that's owned by these people.
Oh yeah.
I'll just run off a short list real quick. Between Larry Ellison and David Ellison, which own Paramount, Warner Brothers, Discovery, and TikTok US. That's great. So they control Paramount, Paramount Skydance, CBS, MTV, BET, VH1, Nickelodeon, Comedy Central, Showtime, Paramount, Paramount Pictures, Paramount Plus, Pluto TV. I mean, I could go on, but my point is you're going to start being limited in what you're actually going to be allowed to hear, see, and think. If we know about the thought police, ooh, you might have been thinking that. I can tell. I'm watching you.
Yeah. I mean, this is some real big brother shit, and it's unacceptable.
To that end, the bill did not pass. Rubio tried to put through to have your passport revoked if you spoke ill of Israel.
Yeah, what the fuck? Here's the thing. If you speak ill of Israel and they consider you an enemy of the state, why do they want to keep you here? Keep your passport and get the fuck out gladly. I mean, I don't get this at all. It just makes no sense. It's unacceptable. It's horrific. It's frankly, it's terrifying because it's a very slippery slope and we are sliding down. There's no guardrails. There's no brakes on this. We are at the whim of an angry and deeply disturbed individual. And he's got an army of sycophants who do his bidding. I mean, I have to wonder if deep down Marco Rubio really believed in that shit, or if he's just going with the flow, which is
I think he's all in now. Sometimes power corrupts.
It corrupts, and you can push it down and tell yourself that you're doing the right thing and look past it. But you know what? I hope that I hope his conscience bothers him in the middle of the night. I hope he wakes up.
But it doesn't bother any of these guys. These guys, Bissent was another one. He had $25 million in farming land that he was supposed to get rid of. He hasn't done. I mean, if anything, him and JD are just adding on to it as these family farms are crumbling. They don't care. There is a bailout set for the farmers because, of course, there is. China has not bought the last 3 months, they haven't spent a penny on soybeans, not 1 cent. You guys asked for this, and this is kind of what you're getting.
Well, and I'll be curious to see how many of those farm bailouts go to actual farmers, because there's a lot of wealthy people and companies that have farms that are not farms. I mean, I had seen a story with a map that there were like several located right in Manhattan.
Yeah.
So again, another grift, another way for them to fucking reward their fellow travelers and screw over the rest of us.
Those might have been rooftop farms, I think, in the city. Before we get too away from murder and kill, I think it's fair to mention this is Trey Reed, 21-year-old. He was found dead at Delta State University. They're in Mississippi. They are celebrating their centennial. This is the way I heard it was he was lynched. Some reports were that he had 2 broken legs, so they were like, I'm not sure how he could have hung himself. It was right in the middle of campus by the pickleball courts. And, of course, the police immediately come in and say no foul play. That was much like here where they clean up the scene and then we just move on and forget. No threats to others. So then the community is like, oh, well, geez, must not concern me. I'm not worried. But you just can't have this kind of stuff. We saw this years ago, Georgia. They found that black kid rolled up in a carpet, a wrestling mat, never been solved. I don't think he rolled himself up in that mat, suffocated himself, and was beaten by himself.
Well, we've heard about other cases, the black truck driver passing through that sundown town who was just getting something to eat, found lynched.
Sure.
I
Uh,
mean, they're
any, yeah, anything in the
bringing back the
South.
old Confederacy.
And it's okay now. It's like we look back at that history with fondness. We're putting statues back. We're accepting of these things. To that point, I want to put up this is another thing which we've talked about before with the Smithsonian. This is a famous photo in many museums around the world. Will Smith made a movie out of it. This is 1863 during the Civil War. You had a couple of photographers from Baton Rouge that took this famous photo, and that was something that they shared with the Northern fighters, which everybody was pretty appalled by seeing this. I mean, this is whipped Peter, and this is something that they want to take out. Executive order: we're restoring truth and sanity to our American history. We don't want to show these types of things, but this is our history, and as we talked about, you're not really going to learn from that. Then they jump to Biden. They accuse Biden of indulging in corrosive ideology. That's why this stuff's here. Casting the U.S. as inherently racist, yes, sexist, oppressive, and otherwise irredeemably flawed. We all have flaws. I'm not saying it's irredeemable. All I'm saying is you need to know what they are to do better. If you don't tell me that picking my nose in public isn't something people do, I'm going to continue to do it. Say, hey, use a Kleenex, or maybe do that in private. I'm learning. Thank you. Thanks for that. Just as an example, I'm just trying to make a point here. We need to know our history so as to not fail with it. But
yeah, and we've been better, and we can be better. I mean, this is just the propaganda is just, it's so in your face. It's so ridiculously apparent. And yet so many people fall for it. I mean, just the martyrdom of Charlie Kirk, who, yeah, he had a huge following. He was a very powerful figure on the right. But, and my theory is that, through social media, a lot of people develop they think they like have a real relationship with these people. You follow somebody, take in everything that they're putting out, and you feel like you're developing a personal relationship. And, that, hey, that's your right. I don't necessarily think it's very healthy. I think, to isolate yourself or to shut yourself off and to follow somebody that,
blindly,
whatever they're spouting, and to feel like, they're your friend or a member of your family. These are personalities, just like you and me, man. I mean, we're just out here speaking our piece.
Yeah.
And it just, it's disturbing. It really is, the way that this has just kind of morphed or metastasized into what it's become over the past decade or so.
And with that, if they're successful in this division, now you've got left, right, you've got conservative, liberal. The left has problems. I mean, Trump sat at his desk yesterday with his audience, and they just ripped into everything that's progressive, left-leaning, empathetic, any kind of caregiving. They don't care. So now you're just on a side. It's I'm on the left or I'm on the right. And since my right side is in power, I'm a winner. So I don't care that car repairs are up 15%. I don't care that furniture's up 10%. My electrical bill, which we're not going to talk about, up. Coffee prices up 20%.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a shutdown, which I say shut it down. You guys are in charge. You have all three branches, basically. GOP, do your thing. They want this push for healthcare costs to go up 75% on all of us, or else they're going to shut it down. So my point is, you pick a side, your side's winning, and all this time you're being distracted. Mexico overtakes the U.S. as Canada's top car supplier. China, like I mentioned, hasn't bought soybeans, not a penny, in 3 months. Sherwin-Williams has suspended their 401k match program based on poor sales. I mean, you see where this is going. These are all distractions. The FDA seeks to abandon expert reviews of new drugs. Trust us, not a big deal.
It's fine.
Hiring's flat, inflation's climbing, consumer sentiment is at historic lows, unemployment's rising, and tariffs are making it worse. The big, beautiful bill, these tariffs, all this stuff we're ignoring because we're fixated on a guy that got murdered. I'm not discounting his death. What I'm saying is there's a lot of stuff going on. As a leader of this country, you'd think you could juggle all these balls at the same time. but he's not trying to, because he only cares about one thing, and that's enriching himself. When he talks
And
about
getting revenge, getting his vengeance against anybody who even looked at him askance. I
and
mean,
this is God.
it's just frightening, man. There's literally no leash on him. He is
Well,
off the chain, doing whatever he wants to, saying whatever he wants to, and just going after people. But the fact is that the economy is cratering. The standard of living is going way down, and it's a very real fear that all of us are going to see our healthcare costs rising. Or
99% of Americans will see incomes drop by 2027 based on the big, beautiful bill, which now they're renaming Working Families, uh, Working Families Bill.
working them over.
It's crazy. So you have the 400 richest people in the U.S. are worth $6.6 trillion. That's with a T. After getting another $1.2 trillion richer just this last year. $1.2 trillion went to the 400 richest people in our country. So it's a little bit crazy. As we do that, again, we look back and they say, oh, you know what? This practice of public companies sharing their financial results each quarter, you know what? Why? Why do we do this? Trust
Yeah,
us.
we don't need
We
that.
got
Trust
this.
us. We're not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
We'll tell
So
us straight.
I don't feel super trusting of any of it. I feel like we're being gaslit at every turn, which to me is extremely disturbing. And we're missing a lot of the points. Again, to our allies, Portugal has picked France over our F-35 for their NATO fleet. That's $8 billion. Denmark, 8 billion euros in their defense spending's all going to go to European producers. Nothing from us. Again, I would worry about Boeing, but here's something. These guys aren't worrying about Boeing. They're not really worried about any of us. Why? Because they just made $1.2 trillion in the last year. And if you don't think Trump's part of that 400 wealthiest citizens in the U.S., you're not paying attention.
Yeah, I mean, just tune out the noise and just believe your eyes, because what you're seeing is the truth.
And feeling and purchasing power and all that stuff. To that point, I just wanted to throw up, because the Labor Department, people are starting to talk, but they're all talking on off the record because they're afraid of retribution. But they said it's like working in a prison. Between cuts, fears, and understaffing, they can't do their core mission. The whole core mission of the Labor Department is to foster and promote the welfare of job seekers, wage earners, and retirees. We've moved on. They have parts of that building that haven't been fixed in months. They have bathrooms that are out of service, not being fixed. The front door hasn't worked in 2 months at the Labor Department. But here we are. We have this, I think I have the picture of them. We have this great, amazing banner at the Labor Department, which we showed before. Secretary Lori Chavez Dareem said, oh, your big, beautiful face on the building of the Labor Department. Isn't that great?
How could anybody in their right mind with any kind of actual vision call that a big, beautiful face? I mean, and again, it's just chilling. This is unprecedented in American history. This is not who we are.
No.
It really isn't. We are not these people. I mean, this is a country that was born in revolution because we didn't want to be told what to do. We don't want to be told who to pay.
If you're on the winning side, you don't care anymore.
Yeah, apparently, you're willing to throw all of that away, but this is not who Americans are, and it's a shame to see us being gaslit and just manipulated into becoming these followers, these sheep who think, well, the dear leader is going to look out for me. No. I mean, the American way is to ask questions. We're an unruly bunch.
Get back to that. Speaking of which, here is Luigi is back in the news. We said from day one that there was no way they were going to be able to put that terrorism charge on him. The courts had to drop 2 of the charges. There were 2 state charges, first and second degree murder. Both, they argued, were terroristic crimes. Wasn't something they were going to be able to do. Here's Luigi coming in. He still has 10 other charges at the federal level. They still will try and put this kid to death. But what he got started was the whole conversation about healthcare and the fact that they use AI to not, fulfill your claims, or they just deny your claims, or they just drag you along as long as possible. And again, Was that person president, CEO? Was he assassinated? He was murdered.
He was murdered.
This podcaster guy, he was murdered. I'm sorry for that, but to put him in the likes of JFK and Martin Luther King, I mean, that's offensive. Very
Yeah,
offensive.
who Charlie Kirk said was not a good guy, referring to Martin Luther King. I mean, come on.
Well, he was a misogynist and he was sexist and he was racist and he had a lot of things that he didn't care for. And I'm just saying, let's not make him into this prophet. It's a little much. Again, sorry for his loss, but again, as the right says, thoughts and prayers.
Mhm.
And let's focus on what they're actually doing to us, taking away from us. You know, starting with due process, starting with your civil liberties. It's just a little bit crazy
It's a lot crazy, and it's probably going to get crazier because, again, this is
until
just
there's pushback.
has to be pushed back. I mean, I called our senator, one of our senators today, and expressed my opinion on the loss of our civil rights and the erosion of our democracy, and asked, "What are you going to do about this? You swore an oath to defend the Constitution and represent the people of this state, not to be a loyal sycophant."
Keep in mind, Holly did vote for the release of the Epstein list, which blew my mind.
It blew my mind too, and the cynical part of my mind wonders if he didn't know that Murkowski was gonna, not vote for it, and he figured, well, this is safe, so like he did with the Medicare bill.
Yeah,
I'll just, make myself look good.
she really was the linchpin on that. Sadly,
Pathetic,
they
just
got to
pathetic. How
her.
does she sleep at night?
I don't know. I don't know. We have terrible representation right now, and that's part of the problem. Is that these people are again? They've picked sides. They've chose their side. Their side's winning right now, or so they think. That'll go on forever, and they're really doubling down. I mean, the attorney generals sue everybody, sue the
Yeah,
media, sue anybody that's your neighbor that's made a cross comment about your weight. That's a problem now. I mean, it's stupid. It's just
it's
plain
really
stupid.
stupid, and again, it's un-American. This is not who we are. It's who we've been shaped to become, apparently, and that's just sad and pathetic. Um, but regarding Murkowski, like Alaskans are very independent-minded people, and for them to be tolerant of that kind of a leader who cowers down to authority and buckles to threats, it's just like you don't have a true representative there. That is not somebody that's representing who the people of Alaska are, at least to my understanding. These are people that are either living off the grid or just they're true independence. They make their own way. They do their own thing. And the fact that that she's been elected by them, which I don't know, kind of boggles my mind. I think they can do better. Find somebody that actually represents who you are.
Mitch McConnell, same idea. How's
Oh
that
my
even
God.
happen?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. How are these guys continuing to win when they're not giving their constituents anything? It's really hard to believe.
It makes you wonder. And they have Kentucky has a governor who's very popular, who's gotten a lot of things done a lot of good for people.
Just saying, you entrench yourself, you throw money at the right people, you swing elections, and that's kind of what we're seeing nonstop. At
Elon.
least with an old crusty guy like him. I did want to move on, just because all of that is very hard to stomach repeatedly over and
Mhm.
over. But we do need people to be alert and stay stay focused on all of it, not just the passing of one person. I mean, we have a lot of shit going on here. So
Yeah,
it's
don't get
time.
distracted.
Push back on all areas, not just one. And it's not a left right thing. It's a have not. And the haves are really sticking it to us. And they'll put us in a box if they can. So just try to maintain your wits and again, check your sources, get some better information, and just don't get lumped in because you think that's how it's supposed to be. I'm a winner. We're all losing at this rate. Left, right, center. You're losing right now. If you're not part of those 400 U.S. Wealthiest people, you're losing.
Yeah, and you can go up by your mailbox and wait till the end of time for your MAGA check to show up, but it ain't coming. So like the old song says, man, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear, because it's a lot of bullshit being floated out there right now.
Sorry, Billy. I got distracted.
Understandable.
So I wanted to pop up this guy real quick. He died today, 89 years old. I'm sure you know who this is.
Yeah, Robert Redford.
Um, made a lot of great movies. I think he was born in LA, but he was actually um, kicked out of school at Boulder, which was probably got him his great start, because then he went on to go to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. And from there, he did obviously started with stage work. Um, I guess he's now gone. Where is he? Anyway, he did a lot of good things. He started the Sundance Festival, which had films such as Reservoir Dogs, Blair Witch, Napoleon Dynamite, one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
And he just, we could use a guy like this. He was also some of his movies, The Sting, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, All the President's Men, which we could probably use right now. Those kind of stories would come back and resonate quite a bit. And of course, later in life, he did The Natural. He was huge supporter of the environment.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he passed in Utah as well. But yeah, he was an ambassador for the environment, for one, for independent films, which was pretty amazing. He's the first person I heard about the cheesecloth, which you and I better start using soon. You put it in front of the camera. It makes you look a little bit younger.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Good for thought. I'm just saying. Yeah. Also, The Great Gatsby, which was pretty good. Then he went into directing. I think he directed Ordinary People, which is depressing as it was. I think it took like 6 Academy Awards.
Very
Best
depressing.
Picture, Best Director. He also produced. So a very well-lived life, but he gave back a lot. Super approachable. We did framing for Sundance in Utah in Park City every year. I'm not saying he was chummy, but he was always available if needed. Wasn't one of those standoffish Hollywood types. You know the type, Billy.
Yeah, you know, nasty people.
So he will be missed. Again, he brought a lot to the stage. One of my happy endings was from yesterday. Yes, the Pirates are out of the playoff contention as of yesterday, but yesterday was also Clemente Day for Major League Baseball. September 15th is the day that all the teams recognize him. Any Puerto Rican player will be wearing 21. Between you and I feel like that's a number that should be retired from baseball, much like Jackie Robinson.
It absolutely should be.
This guy was a legend.
And a humanitarian.
Bigger than baseball. And he went through a lot too. I mean, people thought he was lazy. People said a lot of derogatory things about him, again, based on the color of his skin.
Oh, yeah. And his background. I mean, it was a bit off-putting that a lot of baseball announcers called him Bobby Clemente. I think he was okay with the legendary Pirates announcer Bob Prince calling him that. They had a relationship, which is fine. But yeah, he just got that kind of treatment, and it's a shame. He went through a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Anybody that knew him, the Johnny Benches and stuff will always tell stories. He was a smart man. So if he could avoid, a certain activity in practice, who isn't going to do it if you can, right? But when he stepped up to the plate, or just inside on the baseball diamond, I mean, it was all out there. He had an amazing arm. He got his 3,000th hit on the last game of the season before he passed, which was pretty fitting. And he was just a great ambassador to the sport, to all those nations in Latin America. I mean, he's a legend, and he should be represented in baseball that way. This was the hit. That was literally his 3,000th hit that they took the photo for. So,
yeah, it's a shame. And they his last season, the Pirates played the Reds in the NL Championship, and they lost a heartbreaker in Game 7. It was a wild pitch by Bob Moose, and after the game, Clemente went up to him and he said, "Moose, hold your head up high, be proud." I mean, just a great teammate. I mean, somebody that can, come through like that after, and it was a heartbreaking loss, man. I remember bawling my eyes out as a kid. But that's who he was. And, his whole thing was like, hey, if you have the opportunity to make things better, to make life better for someone else, and you don't take it, you're wasting your time here on this planet.
And to your point, way more than baseball. This wasn't just about baseball. If it was, he could have, sent money down there and not gotten on that crappy plane himself. But that wasn't how he lived his life. And yeah, very special guy beyond baseball, as we said, but also on the field. I mean, he amazing. His arm was fantastic. He was just a wonderful all around baseball player.
He really was, and a wonderful all-around person, and it's funny because he did have a reputation as a bit of a hypochondriac, but at his age, man, he knew how to take care of his body. He knew what worked for him, and
Right.
the guy was still in amazing shape.
And clearly ahead of his time, because we have that now where
Yeah.
guys, there's certain things, hey, we're not doing jumping jacks anymore because of this, that, or the other. I mean, time moves on, but to be able to know your body and how to take care of yourself is what makes these athletes so special today, frankly.
Mhm.
And they put a lot of money into them. As we talked about, James Harrison was spent about $600,000 a year on supplements, massages, and whatever else he had to take.
Absolutely.
All
Yeah.
legal, not insinuating or implying anything.
No, all legal. I mean, he knew how to, take care of his body. Athletes today understand that is a big part of their livelihood. And,
That's right.
the athletes that last in pro sports are the ones that best understand how to get their rest, how to, take care of their body, the workouts, the nutrition, everything.
Not just massage, quarterback guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Justin Tucker.
Be better. Oh,
Mhm.
jeez. I was talking about the other guy, but sure, good point.
Allegedly. Let me say that. Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. Allegedly, he's not on the team anymore. So
Mhm. And he was
anyway,
stubborn.
I don't know if you have a happy ending today. It hasn't been great.
You know what? I was not having the best day. I mean, just with everything going on, it's pretty easy to get down. But I was getting some coffee, and I ran into an acquaintance of mine from the gym who's, kind of becoming a friend of the family, and just, even just spending a few minutes over coffee, just having a chat, just kind of brought me around and cheered me up. So,
Nice.
having those conversations, just talking to somebody.
I was going to say, to your point, they're like, hey, say something nice about a stranger. You'll feel better. Hey, that's a great looking hat. Good looking
Yeah.
haircut. Hey, love that dress. Hey,
Well,
guy, where'd you get those shoes?
it was kind of funny because as we were sitting and talking, there was a guy sitting behind us who I'd seen there all the time. He was sitting across from me behind my friend. And, it turned out my friend knew him too, because again, they'd seen each other around, and my buddy talks to everybody. The guy does not know, has never met a stranger.
Yeah.
So, I increased my circle of friends.
Nice.
So, those are all
Well,
positive things, and that's important, man. Stay open to people, stay connected.
you have to.
Like we say, reach out, offer a compliment to somebody, or just even a little thing, man. If somebody lets you merge into traffic, give them a wave.
Sure. And it
Somebody lets you.
makes and it can make other people's day. I know I've seen it before. Sometimes I force a hi out of people that maybe is a little much. But to that point, I feel like the engagement's important now
It
more than
is.
ever. I can't, I shouldn't expect to know what somebody's thinking. I don't have that power of the thought police that we're working towards these days. But I do feel like kindness, common courtesy is pretty easy, and it makes a winner out of all of us. So
It
practice
does.
it.
Yeah, practice it.
Give it a try.
Yeah, it doesn't cost a thing, and it'll make you feel better.
I agree. Well, I like that ending, Billy, and I'm going to let you go. I know
All
we're
right.
a little the time off, and to come back to all of this and the slight things that we missed, it's only going to heat up more. So I'm hoping we can revisit again on Thursday.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
All right, sounds good. Well, thanks again for your time on this day. Have a good rest of your night.
You too.